Do you think you know the best type of life insurance to own? Well, by the end of this video, we're going to give you all the facts so that you can make the best decision before you sign on the dotted line. Welcome back to Navigate Your Wealth. I'm Karen Stawicki.
I'm Samantha Irish. For the best advice on how to use both life insurance and annuities to create a successful retirement, subscribe to our channel. And make sure you hit the notifications bell below to be notified anytime we upload new videos. Let's start by talking about the different types of insurance. There's only two. One is term insurance and the other is permanent insurance. Term insurance is for a specific period of time, but because we know the start and end date, it's usually less expensive. The other type of insurance is permanent insurance. This means that it is permanent and in place for your entire life. But the permanent insurance has an investment portion of it referred to as cash value. Originally, the concept of insurance was buy term, invest the difference. When they realized that that may or may not work, they created a life insurance policy that had both components. So that's why permanent insurance is usually more expensive. A portion of the premiums go towards paying the insurance, and a portion goes towards the investment and the growth.
So if term insurance is cheaper, why wouldn't I just buy that?
Yeah.
The thing that you need to understand is that term is kind of like renting your death benefit. Permanent insurance is owning. Now there's a time to rent. When you first got out of college, you probably didn't run out and buy a house. You needed to put a roof over your head. Term insurance does exactly that. It provides that death benefit. Where permanent insurance is actually allowing you to build the equity, just like in owning a home, the equity goes to you instead of the landlord. So we understand that permanent insurance, again, is going to be there for the whole time, also going to allow you to build equity over a greater period of time. But something else is very interesting. Did you know that only 2% of term policies result in a death claim?
I've heard that statistic so many times, and every time I hear it, it feels a little unbelievable. The truth is, it doesn't mean that the insurance companies are denying their families. The truth of the matter is that most people either cancel their term policies or they just expire because it was only for 10 or 20 years and they can no longer afford to keep those premiums going past the time frame.
That's right. So here's something to think about. If you can afford to buy term and invest the difference, which is the thing that everybody is kind of touting, right? I think it makes a lot more sense to buy permanent because there you are killing two birds with one stone.
Absolutely. Listen, there are few things in life that are guaranteed, but death is one of them. So the value of permanent insurance is that it is there for your loved ones when that day comes. It's important to really think about the word cost. We said before that term is cheaper than permanent insurance, but in reality, that really only refers to the out-of-pocket expense. With term, we said you have a 98% chance of never getting the benefit, which is the death benefit. And if you do get it, you actually don't get it, just someone else. Whereas with a permanent policy, you have the ability to spend down your death benefit during your life and still have a 100% chance of leaving something behind.
What you're really saying is we need to think big picture and not immediate gratification. I'd love to get your comments below. Let us know if after what we've just shared with you, you still think term is cheaper.
And then when you're done watching this video, check out the other one we've done titled, Is Permanent Insurance Really More Expensive? It'll really help you to understand the true cost of life insurance. The link is in the description below.
Okay, we've talked about term and we've talked about permanent, and I don't want to give anybody the wrong impression. Term insurance is not bad. The key is you want to make sure, first and foremost, that you have the protection in place. Nobody is ever going to ask at the funeral, what kind of insurance did they have, right? They're only going to want to make sure you had enough and your family's going to be okay. So if term insurance is what you can afford right now based on cost, you are never going to be younger, never healthier than you are today. Right. So we want to get that insurance in place. We have a lot of clients that do the rent-own program, right? They buy term insurance, and as they can afford it, they convert to permanent insurance, because that's one of the key components with the right insurance company, that you can convert from term insurance to permanent insurance as you can afford it.
So speaking of renting to own your insurance, we have a perfect client for this scenario. When he was in his early 30s, he realized he was never going to be any younger or any healthier than he was at that moment. And he came to us and he said, what is the maximum amount of insurance that I can qualify for?
Because there is a maximum that you can qualify for. The insurance industry will never allow you to be worth more dead than alive. So they have factors that tell you how much maximum that you can have. It's called human life value.
Now, he wanted to figure out what the maximum amount of insurance that he could qualify was. We figured out what that number was, and then we told him what the cost was to have it in all permanent insurance. He's a successful businessman, but even that number made him choke a little. So we said, listen, you don't need to have it all in permanent insurance right now. Let's start with term. Let's get you all the coverage that you need, and then in time, we can convert some of that term into permanent insurance to create the cash value. He loved the idea. We got started with it, and then 5 years down the road, he was able to convert a small portion of it into permanent insurance. He felt good about it. He was converting it. 5 years later, life happened, and there was a medical factor that prevented this man from ever having any more insurance. But he already had the term in place. So at that point, he was able to convert his existing term policies into permanent policies to make sure that his family would never be without that death benefit. Remember, as your life changes, cost becomes different. For him, the cost up front was too high for him to have all permanent. But when he was diagnosed with something that meant that he wasn't going to be able to qualify for insurance in the future, the cost of not investing in the permanent insurance was too high. So he made sure that he was able to convert what he could.
And if he hadn't gotten all of that term insurance initially, because of the medical situation that came to him, he wouldn't have qualified for any new insurance. So again, getting as much as you can, as early as you can, because you're never going to be healthier or younger than you are today, is really good sound advice.
Absolutely.
It's important to know that not all term policies can be converted to permanent, so it's very important that you work with the right financial professional that gets you into the right companies so that that is an option for you.
If you'd like to learn how to put protection in place and make insurance work for you during your life, click on the link below to apply to become our client. Also, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and as always, share it with a friend.
Thanks for watching, and remember, if what you thought to be true turned out not to be, when would you want to know it?